February 23rd, 9:34 a.m, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of grey areas.
That's one way of putting it.
Yes, G-R-E-Y is another. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to the trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. Well, 2.
Yes.
And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. She had no rebuttal to that. Good luck, Mr. Wright.
And I mean, there's an element of what she's saying that is true, in that the whole point of defense attorneys is that even if they know that their client is guilty, they've still got to ensure that there is a fair trial, that they aren't unjustly sent to prison, that the evidence presented is correct,
yeah, for sure,
and accurate. And so, yes, defense attorneys end up representing some of the most reprehensible people on the planet, but they are just doing their jobs. And obviously, in Nick's case, he generally does seem to find the ones who are actually quite innocent.
With a couple of exceptions, but...
With a couple of exceptions.
That's for later games. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor office lot. Wow. He's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness.
No.
The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen.
Yes, because she coughs up secrets.
Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Ho ho, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honour, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts.
Also stupidly expensive.
Have you ever had caviar?
I have not. I don't intend to ever have caviar. Well, disgusting.
Fair enough, mate.
But the important thing is, yes, way too expensive for what it's worth.
I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up.
Well, you can eat and judge at the same time.
Like, what are you, diabetic? Jesus. Your Honour, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? I'm not, like, reading too much into it, right? They heavily imply she's a prostitute at times.
Well, so, yes and no. Obviously, she was a detective, a first-rate detective, but then she was not. But obviously, there is sort of that implication that she is indeed A lady of the night, shall we say.
Okay, good. Just who is this lady, and what does she cough up? Secrets and only secrets. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Block A is for the prosecutor office's personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep the visitors from taking up prosecutors' spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of the A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honour. Oh boy. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honour. Immediately after that, I apprehended the Chief Prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honour. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honour. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Well, that's just rude.
I think it's from here that the judge starts to become a little bit wackier.
I am inclined to agree, yes. And also, fun fact, we're going to be having to get lunchboxes throughout the trial as well.
Oh, bloody hell. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the Chief Prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The Chief Prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
I mean, that is pretty damning, but still.
Yes, I already saw a contradiction there. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Well, before we get into presenting any evidence, let's press her on somehow I always knew a day like this would come.
How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Yeah, that certainly sounds like a bit of a grudge.
That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. No, it's not. You've been slandering them for like 5 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Hold it, I think we need a little bit more info there. Who is this boyfriend, for example?
This boyfriend. He's the detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? Yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. I love Emma's little asides. The security guard room is in the lot in A block.
I very much, as I said, I prefer Emma here. I think there's a lot more comedy to her, and I think it really does help.
Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. Okay.
Move on forward a little bit. Hold it on this one.
Yeah, this is what was, like, tickling my brain. By garish car, you mean... Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. I wouldn't call it garish.
I mean, it is quite bright red, but I've seen certainly more garish cars.
Like, it's not yellow or purple. Those I would describe as garish.
Oh yes, and also you can have those hideous lime green ones. Ugh.
And the person you saw, apologies to anyone watching this inside of a lime green car right now, by the way. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly position of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? This doesn't make me laugh. The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. But it has to be. It has to be submitted into the evidence, otherwise it's not official.
Yep, and it can very easily be thrown out of court. But there we go.
Unless it gets an endorsement. Hint, hint. That is unmistakably Lana Skye.
It is, but we've got our direct way through to this. So we are going to present the crime photo on this.
Take a look at it. In the right hand, you say?
Because something didn't make sense. But we are going to have to do something naughty in order to get the lunch boxes that we require.
Okay, as I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure there's a fine lunch. I do like salmon.
That's fair. I really do not, but...
Two worlds, one family. This is the photograph you took on the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yeah, it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. Objection! How can you tell that?
I mean, the blood splatter, yeah.
See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Got him. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Ah, you got a better idea?
So, no problem for now. But we are going to have to cycle back through. Because we want a lunchbox.
Mr. Wright, you can't just let him walk all over you. That's just sad. Feeling sad, Mr. Wright? Perhaps a bittersweet first love lunchbox is in order? Well, that was a waste of time. Let's continue with the testimony.
Yes, and let's present that crime photo on that same statement again, but this time we say objection!
Okay. One sec. Let's see. There we go. I want to see these lunchboxes. Shall I skip through?
Yes, I would skip through, and we just want to get to be able to say objection.
Ah, you got a better idea?
Objection this time!
That contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating like a robot. Yeah, look at that face. Cold and calculated. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. How do you know? Look at the Chief Prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on?
I mean, that is a very decent question.
If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Those gloves do seem to tell of a premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offence. Witness, add this to your testimony.
And now, we can present Edgeworth's knife.
Yeah, because it's in the trunk.
And also, there are, all sorts with that knife.
Yes, all sorts indeed. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Ah, the knife Edgeworth put there specifically to frame Lana Skye. The Lana Skye murdering knife. And indeed, this is my knife. Sorry, going Krog there made my brain just disavow English for a second. Judge, can you step in already?
Mummy of prosecutors, bad people.
We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, Rocky? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon?
Exactly.
This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon.
Very true.
Great, now the tide is turning in our favour. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned.
No, Edgeworth.
Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not.
Oh, so you could care less, Edgeworth. Oh, that's a very interesting thing for you to say. This is why English is important.
The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. Yeah, anything else is just kind of quibbling it, really.
Yeah, they're not seeking to prove that it was premeditated, just that she killed him.
But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing? I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
Yes, I mean, that's the important bit.
My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Because I would disagree. And I am out of tea. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor has a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
Ding! We have something we can throw against that.
Also, fries are done. The victim was summoned from the... very aside-y today, I apologise.
Hey, it's fine, we're in a very, very, very long case.
I gotta keep my brain stimulated. In any case, the defence may now cross-examine the witness.
So, she says that she stabbed the knife again and again and again, but I think we've got an autopsy report that might say otherwise.
Yeah, that's complete bull hockey. One knife wound.
Uh-huh.
You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. Jolly good show. What a hook.
Yes, it's very impressive.
He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness, you got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realise that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. But splattered blood from the victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was.
I think we've got a photo that does not show a muffler. Do you agree, Tom?
Yes. This one?
That's indeed the one.
It's not there. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. Can I do my job, please, Edgeworth? Jesus, someone's
I know!
Someone's up himself today. Is that a ward? Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things, accurately at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim?
Yeah.
The next testimony might just be the moment of truth.
And it's certainly going to be an interesting one.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile.
I mean, there's definitely some fishy stuff going on in there, and I'm not talking about some of their lunches, but I think we can get something out of that.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is kind of a snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self. Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. Look out, Graham! A poisonous snake! King's Quest reference. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will.
So this one is going to be an important cross-examination. So let's press on I quickly caught her.
Yeah, this seems sus. Because wasn't the parking lot split into two parts? With like a chain link fence down the middle?
Yes, I agree.
Just as I said. I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Huh. Maybe I should press her for more details.
Indeed, press her.
I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the Cough-Up Queen, lunch lady athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast.
Exactly.
Also, yeah.
So, I mean, you could get over that, but it's certainly not a short run. Yes, we want to press on this one as well.
She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remembered correctly, I would have told you in my testimony. Come on, that is so wishy-washy.
I know.
I remembered something, but I can't tell you what it is. Just that one word? So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
That's kind of an important bit of information there. Ask further.
By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying?
Yes.
You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall but had to use her cell instead.
Hold it.
Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. How did you know this?
Well, yes, and this is ultimately going to be the thing that is going to unravel her testimony, but you're going to have to take a couple of penalties if you want this achievement.
Oh.
It's fine, because, you know, we get some funny commentary, and actually, the penalties don't really do anything.
Fair enough.
So, let's go back to that statement about I saw it all, and present those floor plans.
Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
I mean, I disagree, but sure.
Who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armour, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? Humph, I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of the partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it! Wah! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told in court.
And here we go.
Oh, bloody hell.
We're gonna have to get it wrong before we get it right.
The witness lied about...
what she saw.
She lied about what she saw. In other words, she didn't see Miss Sky using that emergency phone. It does seem hard to imagine how she could have. Very logical. What's the matter, Star? Cat got your lunchbox? Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would Miss Star lie like that? Huh? Why would she say that my sister had tried to use the phone but failed? It doesn't make any sense. Why lie about something so insignificant? Oh. Dang, she's right. I mean, maybe she really did see her try to use the emergency phone. I see no room for doubt here. You ordered the patooey on rice, right? Mr. Wright, and I thought you had something there. Ugh. One more try.
We're gonna need more than one.
I see it in your eyes. You haven't learned your lesson, have you? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told to the court. Here's where the counter-attack begins.
It was the order of events.
She lied about the order of events. Miss Sky used that emergency phone before the murder. I see. I hadn't thought of that. That took the wind out of her sails. Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory. Why would anyone use the emergency phone before the murder? Huh? Just when you think he can't sink any lower, he amazes us. I applaud you, Mr. Wright. You ordered the orange peel lunchbox, right? I guess that teaches me not to get excited before the evidence. I want you to know this hurts me on a physical level, Rich.
Hurts me too, but we're gonna get it right this time.
The previous one we got, that was an accident on my part, reading the guide incorrectly, but this was on purpose. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court.
It is, of course, where she saw it.
Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. I'd phrase that differently, but...
Yes, I would agree, but hey.
Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star saw the crime, or witnesses even, was...
the security room.
She has a boyfriend in there, after all. This is... Did you notice the, penalty bar took longer to go away?
I know, it was going, oh, did you get it just in the right area?
They do that in later games, actually. Trials and Tribulations, specifically. I remember being up in, like, the early hours of the morning, lying on my side in bed, and, like, spamming evidence, trying to get the right one, and I could never get it right because, like, the sound cut out, but still got that penalty.
Yeah, it's mean.
Still the best game of the series, though.
100%. Trials and Tribulations is flawless.
Spirit of Justice is pretty good from what I've played so far.
It is good, yeah.
I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr. Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective, you should know better. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. How does that make you any different from the prosecutors you say forged evidence?
Well, exactly.
That's what hate does, it twists you. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Well, actually, it would.
This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands.
Objection!
It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What could change?
Well, it's the distance to the crime that's the problem here.
It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime.
Exactly.
Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. Which is ironic, because if this was like set in Japan like it's supposed to be, that's a delicacy over there. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the Glass Wall station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked, so I couldn't open it. Are you kidding me?
Jesus Christ on a bike.
And you weren't the least bit out of breath?
I know.
That's quite a detour.
Yeah, and quite a lot of time for literally anything to happen.
5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
It is, to be fair.
Would you like another caviar lunch? Is this not bribery?
Pretty much is bribery, but you know.
Do I have any evidence to stop this?
We do, we are raising an objection.
Objection!
In part because I want another lunchbox.
Okay, Richie. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty horrifically undercooked pasta.
A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honour? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Oh! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. You ate fish eggs. Granted, they were inseminated, I hope. She dawdled at the scene of the crime. No true criminal will act this way. It's inconceivable. Yarg!
Yeah, it really does not make any sense unless she was hoping to get caught.
The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her personal history, or professional even. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Oh, bloody hell.
Not quite over just yet. We've got another bit of testimony to go through.
That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
I mean, why didn't you present it to begin with, but sure.
Right, is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Now that is a bribe.
That's definitely a bribe.
That was like a call and answer sort of situation. I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed.
I bloody hope we're not.
Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up?
No, you bloody didn't.
2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
Blood type is not necessarily as damning as all of that. Same blood, yes. Blood type, less so. It makes it obviously more of a chance that it was hers, but still.
Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. How many boyfriends are we up to now?
I want to say that's at least 5.
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
Mm-hmm.
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Is this the only game evidence law comes up in?
Not 100% sure. It's definitely the first time that it gets brought up in this game.
This shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department, thus it has, by proxy, gotten the... yeah, there we go. I mean, approval can be spoken as well, I suppose.
That is true.
Nuh-uh. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solid.
And like he wants to murder somebody himself right now.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems that you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
So we're going to want to press on everything.
Okay. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This, when the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Sky. Let's just get this over with. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I bring this up?
Hold it!
And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting, sorry, Freudian slip there. So, like an ill-trained pooch who snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon, if that should happen.
I mean, in that sense, that is fair.
It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you, and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's.
Hold it!
So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analysed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective.
Yep, she wouldn't have achieved it otherwise.
Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman? As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. Very specific language there. Now, should I press, or show some evidence here?
Keep pressing. We want to press absolutely everything.
Is this because of a lunchbox?
It is indeed because of a lunchbox.
You claim to know something about blood tests, Rookie. Huh. Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and then AB. You can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results.
I mean, that is fair.
Yes, but it also kind of pokes a hole in your whole testimony. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
Pressing again, and this will get us our next lunchbox.
Nice. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe?
There is a problem.
If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence, a clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, Rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Please stop showing that to me, it makes me sick. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence.
Well, let's rotate the shoe and look at the underside, because there's a massive blood stain on it.
I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, Rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Huh. Indeed, there's quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the bottom of his shoe?
And to this, we are presenting the crime photo.
This one?
Yes.
Take a quick look. I don't see no blood there.
Well, it's just like, how could the blood have gotten on the shoe?
Yeah, it lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Well, partially, but whatever. Why weren't any bloody footprints found at the scene of the crime?
Exactly.
As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Yeah, unless somebody'd gone and cleaned it up. I mean, which is a possibility in 5 minutes, but still.
Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint, yeah. Sorry, the grammar tripped me up a second, though. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman, wow.
Oh, yes, that would have, gotten rid of some of the blood.
Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? It was brimming with water. Which isn't enough to get rid of blood, I'm afraid.
Not really, but it might have, cleared a bit of it at least.
The real reason? You don't mean... He had the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. It has been a very long time since I've had a drink and it's starting to show.
We're nearly there. This bit of the trial is nearly over.
Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it.
Yeah, it's pretty damning. Unless something, comes out at the last minute, this is pretty much over.
The verdict, Your Honour. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side?
Oh, thank God for her vanity in terms of her skills.
Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called Evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the Coffle Queen. Look at this. A photograph? I had it just in case anyone had the balls to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet.
Well, there is, thankfully, a lovely little thing in this bit of evidence that is going to blow this whole stuff wide open.
I saw it too, mate. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not? Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Huh? Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end.
I mean, it feels kind of bitter-endy right now, all things considered, but still, we're going to be able to use it.
Does he just have, like, a psychic connection to Mia, then?
I think a little bit. I mean, she's got her super loyal ghost powers, so she's just like, I'm watching over you, and I can see that you're having a bit of problem, so I'm just going to, drop down a bit of knowledge on you.
Who told you this? A ghost. Probably should have said that.
Yeah, ghost said to just keep going.
Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Well, Mr. Wright? Show the court the problem in the photograph.
Well, it is, of course, the exhaust pipe with a bit of material sticking out of it that could or could not be a muffler.
What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. I guess that's meant to be a pun.
Yes, I believe so.
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. If I had just waited like 3 seconds, they would have explained the joke for me. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? Huh. So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, actually, everything. And, we have a bit of evidence to prove it.
In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the murder case is related to the murder case.
Well, of course, Lana's cell phone, because she certainly mentioned about a muffler.
Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah yes, when I arrested her she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ah! Yarg! Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence.
It does indeed.
Hoorah! Hoo. Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Sus! I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew! That was close.
It was very close indeed.
Oh, but we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime, after all. He's still hungry? Jesus.